Hello, I have here the LEGO Indiana Jones Escape from the Lost Tomb set. This has officially exactly 600 pieces, and I built it live over on my Twitch channel. It cost me $40 US, 40. And if you see a View Products link on the video, you can click that to see some places you can buy it. The set comes with 4 minifigures that are appropriate to this section of the movie that's being depicted here. And take a look at the overall size and shape. So you've got your 16 stud width with a big plate down below, or depth I should say. And then the wall is just 2 studs thick. And that's it. Behind it, you've got just a little bit of place to put some figures on the escape. But there's a whole lot of Hollywood going on with this, which in some ways is very appropriate, but it's very much designed to be displayed from really a limited number of angles. So it's good. It's very good from here to here, and then it starts to fall apart a little bit once you're able to see it from the side. But the focus here, as is appropriate, is more on play. This is not a display or collector's model. The Anubis statues are admittedly a bit blocky, although they do use some fairly modern pieces. They remind me a lot of 60s through early 80s custom builds of large-scale brick-built figures. But that's okay. It's good that they are actually built. They don't rely on super specialized parts. You do have stickers used for the decorations. You got the 4-pack there, not quite a 6-pack, but a 4-pack that looks pretty good. The mouth can be opened and closed. That little bit of yellow right there represents an eye, and this can be rotated around on a turntable, which is good for accuracy if you need it. So this one's on the turntable as well, but these should be facing ultimately away from you. Now that's not such a good look from this side, and that's all the more reason it's nice to be able to just have them displayed this way most of the time. The ground out front has some broken off torches around to create some safe space, and I didn't actually check, but I believe this might be the set with the largest number of classic Lego snakes, because you've got a bunch of them around here in dark green and also dark blue. It's nice to get some color variations in there. You also have one of these relatively recent molds over here of half one that's just kind of coming out of the base. There's another one of those up on the wall back over there. And speaking of that wall, in this scene there were some snakes that came through the wall itself. It's kind of a hint, it was a hint in the game of how to proceed. So they've got one set up with a basic mechanism over here so that can just fall out. It's a really, really simple little thing. It has very limited range of motion, but does what it's supposed to do. And then back there a bit farther, kind of hidden back there. I didn't realize this was how this was. Let's see, can I get that to focus a little bit? Didn't realize that that's how this was supposed to be set up. There's just not a whole lot of room to get into the arc itself. This is designed to be carryable by minifigures, and it's got stickers for decorations on the sides. You got some yellow there, and you got some gold, just molded gold. But this doesn't open up, unfortunately. It's all just a solid block, so the yellow there is just a single 2x4 brick. On the side of the archway is the classic C-3PO and R2-D2 Easter egg that was actually carved into the set of the real movie. But on the other side, I'm not sure if any of these are references in any way. It doesn't seem like it to me. Meanwhile, on this side of the back wall, you've got an obvious Bionicle reference there, and this one is actually from Exoforce. That, to me, is a Star Wars reference. I think that's like Jawa eyes. And then higher up in the center of the wall, you can see a crystal skull reference right there. The sarcophagi, how do you say the plural version of that? They're identical, and they don't come off. They're very thin, also like facades, just a couple plates deep and sticker for most of the decoration. The big main play feature is knocking one of the statues over and having it crash through the wall. And in the movie, Indy is like up here and pushing on it with his legs, and then he kind of rides it down. There are studs. So you got a stud on either just below the hands. You can say some studs back here. So there are some spots where you can try to attach a figure, but they didn't really make that a built-in thing where it really is designed to work well. I mean, you kind of can slot them right there or something like that. But down below is a basic actuator, and you just push on that to make the whole thing just lean forward. So kind of aim it a little bit, and there it goes. That's it. Just goes straight through. Very simple, easy to reset, easy to put it back. And then this will basically hold itself in place. And you can do it forward or backward. Nothing breaks. It just goes right through. And then once you are through, you can be scared by a mummy that comes down from over here. It's just a little simple actuator off to the side. It's just holding the thing in place. Really easy to put that there and easy to remove the mummy if you want. It would be great to have lots more mummies, even if they weren't particularly fancy, if they weren't particularly complete minifigures, even just some stickers along the side. But instead, you just get that sticker back there on that panel, which is not particularly easy to see. You can walk through here, I suppose, but then you're just kind of on your own at this point. Yep, that's it. That's truly it. Looking at minifigures, here are Indy and Marion, and I think the prints for the torso, hip, and leg pieces for each of these are good. You got the dual molded legs for Marion after the fire incident. Yep, the faces I think are actually okay for this one, and the minifig accessories are definitely perfectly appropriate. Thankfully, you get alternate faces for both, which is nice to see. Yeah, so that's her scared face when the mummy first comes down, so it's good to have that. Yeah, these are good. Really nice detail, like just well finished there. And I just want you to see what these look like with the faces framed up to see if that looks anything more like the actor and actress. And then here are Sala and the mummy, which totally sounds like a Disney story or a children's story book or something. Sala and the mummy. It began. These are both good. It's great to get this whole figure here. It looks very, very clean. Maybe could have used some of the print coming down into the hip just to make it a little bit more fancy, but it works for me. It definitely works. The mummy is a mummy. And it's fine. Maybe some arm printing would have been nice, but again, the nicest thing, mummy-wise, would have been to just have more of them. Yeah. Also, no alternate face because, well, it would just be super obvious with this headgear piece. Here are the leftover pieces, and I did get an extra Indy hat with this one. There are random reports all over the internet of some folks getting extras and some folks not. If you get one, you're very lucky. If you don't get one, that's the way that it's supposed to be. The sticker sheet on this is significant for the size and price of the set. Significant, not just with the number of stickers, but the total amount of coverage of all of them, and in some cases, how critical they are. Again, the price was $40 US. It's 40 euros is the base price in Germany, and it varies from there. 35 pounds UK or 50 Canadian dollars, which equates to 37 US dollars, so cheaper than it is in the US. And for this amount of stuff, $40 US in 2023 feels okay. Seems reasonable to me, honestly, for this amount of stuff, even though this is a facade here. You get a good amount of display here. Good amount of display punch. It has that visual weight to it. What is here, I think, is mostly good. Ironically, though this is clearly designed to be more of a play set, it ends up, in my view, being a better display set. Because all this right here, this looks really, really good. But then, strangely, though you have this big plate area here, a lot of it is not that accessible, especially with the snakes in place. So you get little areas around the sides. The areas to get into the arc itself are super, super narrow. Going through the arch here doesn't really work for you. Coming around the back, this extension here isn't really useful. It's not really usable. I guess you could have somebody climbing up on top of it to represent something, but most of this just doesn't do much at all. You've got the little thing that brings down the mummy, but I feel like that could have been integrated into the back of the wall here instead. And also, if this didn't stick out so much, it would be a lot easier to display this on a shelf or something, just because it would have a good 2 to 3 inches less depth. So, yeah, for what it is, I think it ends up being better for like older folks than the suggested age range, which is 8+. I know 7+ or something, 8+. And I think that suggestion is fine as far as complexity of the build and everything, but ultimately, good for the minifigures, good for these statues, good for the wall. That's about it. So I'm a little bit underwhelmed, but part of that is from bias. I heard from a lot of folks in advance that this was an amazing set, and it just doesn't strike me as amazing. But it's fine. If you like what you see, then I think you're able to get a good deal even at the suggested retail price. So it works out. You know, not a must buy unless you think it is. Definitely not a recommended don't buy. So I'm kind of right there in the middle with it. Thank you for watching. Hope that was of some value to you, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye for now.